The latest Tokyo Auto Salon once again proved that Subaru isn't just a car maker, it's a quiet psychologist that turned fan expectations into a never-ending high-tech kind of masochism. And in a second, you'll see exactly why. You're watching Speed Logic. Let's go. The headline act on the Japanese booth was the WRX STI Sport prototype. Yes, a prototype, not a production car, and they served it with so much drama you'd think the engineers had just invented teleportation. What did they actually do? They put a 6-speed manual back in. In 2026, while everyone debates autopilots and neural interfaces, Subaru rolls out a stick shift like it's a miracle, and the fan base cries with joy like their purpose in life just got restored. It's a brave move, honestly, to admit that after years of selling a CVT, the biggest innovation is a piece of hardware from the last century. But the joke continues because under the loud STI prefix and a sprinkle of red badges sits the familiar 2.4-liter FA24 turbo boxer, rated at 275 horsepower. On paper, it trails the old Monster Special Editions, so the engineers pivoted away from raw numbers and leaned into razor-sharp control and emotional payoff. Power goes into the all-wheel drive through a 6-speed manual, and paired with a retuned suspension and electronically controlled dampers, it becomes a proper tool for spirited driving. While people waited for a new STI that could spin the planet's axis, Subaru politely reminded us that 275 horses is plenty, at least enough not to traumatize the guy next to you in a hybrid crossover. Next to the old legends with roughly 340 horsepower, this one feels like a top athlete who cut hard and switched to yoga. Less muscle, but the flexibility and handling are the whole point. Subaru proudly talks up the electronic dampers and Brembo brakes, basically promising you'll slow down as efficiently as possible. And the best part of this nostalgia and marketing dessert is the status. It's still an experimental prototype. Subaru is still masterfully keeping fans in the friend zone, showing the dream spec with a manual and Recaro buckets while hinting it may never hit production. And if it does, it'll likely be Japan only. So the WRX STI Sport reads like a gorgeous, expensive love letter written in 2004 and delivered in 2026. Warm, familiar, but still refusing to set a date, asking you to admire the red accents on the Aero a little longer. And meanwhile, over in Munich, someone seriously decided a modern car should age faster than the paint can dry. The new 5 Series Touring owners barely got used to the fresh leather smell and the endless screen submenus, and the spy shots already dropped a fresh reason to worry. Road tests caught a prototype of the updated wagon, revealed right after the sedan, even though the current generation hasn't even had time to properly populate parking lots yet. Looks like BMW's decided to run the 5 Series facelift on fast forward, because perfection is endless, and the marketing team clearly needs fresh headlines every other week. The standard camo on the front and rear is doing its best impression of hiding a revolution. It's not. Just like with the sedan, the mystery is basically slimmer, angrier headlights and yet another round of kidney grill therapy. One day they want to become gigantic, the next day they suddenly go on a diet. And honestly, if the final car keeps the vibe of these spy shots, I won't be mad. There's something in that look that works. The Touring's rear won't get any dramatic surgery though. Expect a new lighting signature, a slightly different style, and that's pretty much the whole story. Classic BMW mid-cycle update behavior. The real upheaval is inside, where the brand continues its digital victory lap. The wagon, like the sedan, is set to receive the new panoramic cockpit concept, and the latest spy shots basically spell it out. So yes, new interior architecture, and yes again, everyone will be relearning BMW's interface, which the company has been tweaking way too often lately. Mechanically though, it's business as usual, and it's a proper Swedish buffet of options, where you can pick whatever flavor fits your life. And BMW now wraps it all into one tidy engine story. Entry level comes with the 520 petrol 4-cylinder at 208 HP, plus the familiar 520D diesel with 197 HP. still built to take you to the edge of the world while sipping fuel like it's on a budget. Want real shove? There's the 540D, a 3.0-liter inline-six with 303 HP and enough torque to make overtakes feel like paperwork. On the hybrid side, you've got the 530e and 550e at 299 and 489 HP, letting you cosplay an eco hero Monday to Friday and become the left-lane monarch on the weekend. Then the EV squad arrives, the i5 eDrive 40 and the unhinged M60 at 601 HP, continuing the campaign to convince us exhaust noise is outdated and 0 to 100 in about 4 seconds with a trunk full of seedlings is peak modern harmony. And sitting on top of this whole engineering circus is the M5 Touring, a 4.4-liter V8 hybrid paired with an electric motor for a combined 727 HP and 1,000 Newton meters. It'll relocate your family so fast they won't even have time to panic. Put it all together and the 5 Series Touring becomes a weirdly special product, a practical family wagon with sport car ambition, reminding you how brutally fast the modern car world moves. And while that's happening, Mazda, after years of calmly watching the EV race and obsessing over internal combustion and rotary love poems, has finally admitted you can't roll into 2026 on vibes and pistons alone. Enter the new CX-6e crossover, about to drop into Europe. One look and you can tell Mazda didn't try to reinvent the wheel this time. No new rotary gymnastics. They simply partnered with the Chinese giant Changan. The outcome? Classic Japanese styling up front and a very pragmatic Chinese foundation underneath. And honestly, that sounds like the most sensible arranged marriage in the industry. On the outside, the CX-6e sticks to Mazda's elegant Kodo vibe, the kind of shape that still makes people glance back. Size-wise, it's properly adult, 4,850 millimeters long, 1,935 millimeters wide, and a 2,902 millimeter wheelbase. Translation: the rear seats won't feel like punishment, and passengers won't have to fold themselves into origami. The only reality check is the 158mm ride height, which basically warns you that off-road ends the second you meet a proper curb or a stray branch someone tossed on the pavement. But in everyday practicality, it delivers. You've got a 468-liter rear trunk, plus an 83-liter frunk up front, because EVs love bonus storage. Under the skin, Mazda drops the old-school conservatism and goes full modern. The main power source is a 78 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery. It drives a single motor on the rear axle, 258 HP and 290 Newton meters. That combo pushes this rolling gadget to 185 kilometers per hour, capped electronically, but still more than enough for an EV in the real world. WLTP range comes in at 484 kilometers, which in human terms means you can probably cross from one major city to another without turning every broken charger into a mini horror story. And when the battery finally starts bleeding, fast charging at up to 195 kilowatts takes you from 10% to 80% in 24 minutes. Basically coffee time, plus a quick existential chat about how insane technology's pace has become. Inside, it keeps up the premium act with a massive 26-inch infotainment display. Mazda also promises the brand DNA is still intact and the car remains driver-oriented, like a loyal horse. Sure, the horse now eats lithium instead of oats or petrol, but a European starting price around 48,000 euros says Mazda's aiming seriously at the Tesla Model Y crowd. Bottom line, the CX-6e is proof that sometimes you have to put pride and old drawings on the shelf to build something genuinely competitive, even if it means teaming up with yesterday's rivals from China. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I'd really appreciate a like and a comment. New video coming soon. See ya!